Austin.
How are you?
Hi, pretty good. So for the show, I've got something on my mind that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about relationships. I just been thinking that we men and women just make things way too hard for each other. We're just way too hard on each other. We place too high an expectation on each other, and we need to just like bring it down. So
I understand that.
I feel like what I've been thinking about was that we make it hard for each other because like women just have way too high standards that they come to the table with sometimes. Like not like I guess the focus of what I was thinking more in terms of was that like sometimes men and women can't be honest with each other about where they're coming from.
Right.
Because women they don't want anybody to lowball them. They don't want anybody to give them less than they deserve, which is, it's a rightful way to position yourself. And it makes sense because that's what society teaches, in most cultures, that's how society teaches us how to be. That's like, you don't want anybody to lowball you. You don't want anybody to like give you more than you deserve. You don't want, and that's fine. But then I feel like, at the same time, a lot of my heart goes out to the position guys are in, especially like, during times of difficult economic times, like during recession. That, and also like, even just in dating, like once people, I'm talking about even in terms of dating, because I feel like if a guy doesn't have a lot to offer, like he's not gonna like say that. And like, but then, cause every now and then I come across women who say things like, oh, the guys in my neighborhood or all the guys I come across, all they want is sex and all they want is a hookup and this and this. And a part of me like wonders like if that, especially now that I'm married and I live with a guy on a regular basis and I can see things from a guy's perspective more, a part of me wonders if what part of the problem is that like guys go for a hookup because they're not in the position where they feel like they can offer more, but they're never gonna say that because I'm not. I'm sorry. I don't want to embarrass you.
No. Don't worry about it. Like,
but I feel like that can happen.
You don't know. I think honestly there's probably a lot of that. I mean, I can't speak for every guy.
But that probably does happen.
You like a feeling of inadequacy.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of the times the women thinks that guys don't have the right kind of ideals. And maybe that's true sometimes, but maybe it's also true that like if they don't feel like they can offer something, then they don't come at you from that kind of perspective. They're just more like having fun, trying to get through the day. If they don't, is that weird that I think?
No, like I said, if someone does feel inadequate or insecure, then maybe that's the angle that they're going to come at because they're feeling like, okay, well, I can't offer the stability.
Exactly.
I can't offer this thing that maybe some other guy could.
Exactly.
So they're going to take a different route in a way that maybe they think they could.
And women sometimes take that personally and they feel like, oh, does that mean I'm not good enough? Or does that mean he thinks I'm not good enough? It's like, well, maybe it's just not that deep. Maybe it's just the fact that that's what he's able to pull off right now. So that's what he's going to go for.
Like everybody overthinks it.
Yeah. And well, especially females, they just like really personalize things. If they feel like someone isn't, or someone isn't giving them what they're worth, or they're not getting anybody who's coming across to them the way they want or something like that. I don't know. I just think about now that I'm married and I still come across single women and I hear what they complain about. That's some of the things I hear. And I'm kind of like,
some of the things that they complain about? Like go ahead. That'd be something.
That's one thing that they complain about is that they feel like, I come across some women who feel like all guys, that they just don't get offered like a lot. Like guys don't step up to them with a lot of, with a lot in their heart that they want to offer to the ladies. This is especially true, I think, in places where it's really expensive. Like, I know when I lived in Los Angeles, that was more that way. And I know that, like, when I came to, like, Phoenix area, there was a lot more people, like, I used to think it was an age thing. Oh, those guys just aren't grown up yet. But I think it could also just be, like, circumstances.
Maturity.
Yeah, but it could also just be circumstances. Like, because, like, when I came out here, I noticed that more people, even if they're, like, still in their late 20s, early 30s, more of them, like, are more willing to look at things in a long-term sort of way and whatever. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because it's, like, cheaper and they can do that. Like, they're able to, like, be more stable themselves so they can offer more stability.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that does, like, circumstance plays into it. I think, like, if So if someone is, like I said, if they don't, let's say they don't have a lot to bring to the table, you know what I mean, and then all of a sudden, so they're trying to, like, they can't even support themselves necessarily.
Exactly.
And here's a woman that wants them to not only, and then
just sweep her off her feet.
Well, like, let's say buy all kinds of things, or if they have children, if their children adds a whole other dynamic to it. Like, let's say there's a woman that, like a single parent, has 1 or 2 children. You know, the guy might think, okay, if I want to be with that woman, you know, how am I going to be able to, you know, like, help support those 2 children?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's possibly some of the things, you know what I mean? I'm not really sure exactly how, like I said, every situation's different.
Yeah.
But.
Well, so I guess for me going into the new year, my hope for everybody in the country is that men and women be kinder to each other, like more gentle, more like, I guess I want to see, especially for the young, like now that I'm like married and stuff, I look at like, what would I tell somebody who was like 25 or what would I tell somebody who was like younger? And I guess I want to see guys and girls come from a place of more mutual support. Right. And that way they can be more vulnerable and honest with each other. That way everybody isn't coming with a game of like, well, I'm going to ramp up myself this much. And then the other side's like, well, I'm going to ramp up. I mean, I get it because everybody wants to like represent each other's value to each other. But I think that I want to see more like people tone that down and come from a place of more mutual support and team up more
like
to just understand life.
Equality.
Yeah, understand life and just friendship. Come from a place of more like, you know, friendship so they can be more vulnerable to each other and less scared that like the other person judging them that they don't got this, they don't got that. Right. Like there's nothing I hate to read more. Thing. Yeah, there's nothing I hate to read or hear more than like, well, this person ain't got this or they're not that and they're not. It's kind of like if you're coming at a place where you're judging someone so much based on what they do, they're never gonna like mellow out and be vulnerable to you about everything they're working with. And at the end of the day, life is not about just having this and having that. It's about like sharing experiences. It's about like the journey. Like if you really look at it, for me anyway, the things you enjoy is not that you have this or you had that, but that you like shared this and then you enjoyed that. And I think that gets like cut out of the equation very easily. So I don't know. That's just. I guess that's my soapbox. I want to see people have more like mutual respect and more like
instead of like one's here.
Yeah,
one's here,
more humility towards each other and more less judgment, more friendship. Right. And I think it'll just make everything a lot easier.
Well, they say if you have a relationship that has more friendship, you know what I mean?
It'll last longer.
It goes deeper than some of it's just superficial or just sexual or. It goes a lot deeper to where it goes longer, you know what I mean?
So I want to know about you. What's your life like? We're probably not going to put this on the thing. But maybe some of it will be good. What's
like in terms of what? Just what I hear about, like what women complain about?
What's your pet peeve? I know you're a single guy, right? You're a single guy, right? Okay. So what are you looking for in like a long-term relationship?
Well, honestly, one of the biggest things, so I mean, and again, every guy is different. Like some guys look for this, some guys look for that. For me, for where I'm at in my point in life or whatever, like one of the biggest things that, and according to a lot of the people, a lot of the guys that I know, one of the hardest things to find in a woman is actually loyalty.
Really?
Yes, believe it or not. Like,
wow, that must be like, how old are you?
33.
Okay, well, really? Like, I would think that's true with like really young girls, not for someone at 33.
Right. You would think that. That's one of the surprising things. Yeah, that is the
like. Do you mean like not cheating?
Yeah. Well, like okay, apparently. So, and if you listen to some of the songs about, like some of the rap songs or whatnot, like some of the songs that are out there, they talk. Some of them talk about just females or women not being loyal. Like that's the essence of what they're speaking about. Again, and it's not. It's general, and it's not to point out any specific type or whatever. But that is just amongst the guys that you were talking about me personally, the guys that I speak to and. They're like, man, I can't seem to find a woman that is either not talking to 5 other guys while still talking to me.
Do you think that's like because of like the Tinder, the internet generation?
It could be that that's something like dating. Let's say when I was 21 as opposed to 33. Now. Like there's a big difference. Yeah. They didn't have Plenty of Fish and Tinder and all that. Now,
Plenty of Fish just ruins it. That title just does it.
Well, they have you have a lot of choices,
Yeah.
and you have access to lots of choices. So, I mean, like that again, that is just a general, and it's not saying that there aren't some amazing women out there. It's just that is seen. Like I talk to guys, who are like, man, you know, I caught my girl cheating, or I caught my girl talking to this guy, calling him these inappropriate names.
That's so interesting. I never, God, I'm so boring. I never knew that like cheating was a problem for guys. I thought it was a problem only for women.
It's both ways. It's both ways because like whereas the term player or whatever, like there's male players and there's female.
Nobody talks. Well, that actually gives me a whole new respect for guys, a whole new sense of like just appreciation for that they're coming from a vulnerable position too. That they fear being cheated on. They fear the same things that like, you know, I wouldn't have thought about that.
It's not as talked about, probably. You know what I mean? It's not. It's more so. I guess maybe because a man is supposed to be tough.
Yeah.
Be able to take all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no matter what it is.
So why do you think women are so like cheat nowadays? Why do you think they're such sluts?
I think again it comes back to just having all the options, having the readily available choices, to where it's like, so as before you might only have the choices within your inner circle, like let's say the people you know from school or work. Now you can talk to somebody that's in another town.
Do you think it also comes from a place that like now women just like, well, I think women are kind of indecisive in general too. They kind of want it all, so they're not really like. So maybe they're more inclined not to like settle on like one thing at first and be like, oh well, what about this and what about this and what about that and what about, and he's got this and he's got that and he's got that.
It's probably a difficulty in settling, like because if you're thrown like 5 different choices that are all pretty good along the lines of what you're looking for, maybe all of a sudden you have a dilemma because you're torn. Like I've heard a lot of women being torn.
Do you ever think that it's like they're not in love? Like when people fall in love, things change.
It could be a possibility of not willing to open up, or maybe a commitment thing of possibly like, hey, you know, I'm not sure if I want to commit to person A because person D and E or whatever, you know, I might be feeling that or something. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been in love?
Yeah, I have.
Aww. So what happened there? What happened with her?
Cheating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, speaking of, like, it's funny, we talk about the subject.
Really?
Yeah.
So did she leave with the guy she cheated with?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,